Here's something that might surprise you. The biggest reason people stay renters isn't affordability, it's fear. Fear of commitment, fear of timing, fear of making the wrong choice. But what if staying in that temporary relationship with renting is actually the bigger risk? I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Let me share a conversation I had last week with a couple who'd been renting the same place for 7 years. 7 years. They kept saying next year, it'll be better timing. Meanwhile, they'd paid over $168,000 in rent with nothing to show for it except a collection of renewal notices. When we finally sat down and looked at their situation, you know what shocked them? They were already qualified. They'd been qualified for 3 years. They just never asked the question. Look, renting isn't bad. For some people at certain points in their lives, it makes perfect sense. But here's what I want you to think about. What are you actually getting for that monthly payment? According to FinHabits, homeownership gives you 3 things renting never will. First, security and stability. Your payments stay predictable while rents keep climbing. Second, you can customize your space. Want to knock down that wall or paint the bedroom purple? It's your call. Third, and this is the big one, you're building wealth every single month instead of building your landlord's wealth. Let me give you some real numbers. I worked with a family last month who were paying $3,500 in rent. We got them into a $600,000 home with 10% down. At 6.25%, their total monthly payment came to about $3,900, including tax, insurance, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. $400 more per month than rent. But here's the difference. In that first month alone, roughly $550 of that payment went toward principal, equity they own, plus they got tax deductions on the interest. Meanwhile, their $3,500 rent payment, every penny of that was gone forever. Now, here's what really matters. Over the next year, while their rent-paying friends saw zero benefit from $42,000 in rent payments, this family built over $7,000 in equity just from their monthly payments. Add in appreciation, and their net worth grew by tens of thousands, while their monthly cost was only $400 more. I know what some of you are thinking, but what about maintenance costs? What about property taxes? What about being stuck if I need to move? Fair questions. Here's my answer. Yes, homeownership comes with responsibilities renting doesn't have. But let me ask you this. How much control do you have over your rent increasing next year? How much say do you have when the landlord decides not to renew your lease? How much wealth are you building when you write that rent check? The real question isn't whether homeownership has costs. It's whether continuing to rent has a bigger opportunity cost. Here's something else people don't always consider. Down payment assistance. I had a client last year who thought she needed $60,000 to save up to buy. Turns out, with the programs available to her as a first-time buyer, she needed $8,000. That's it. She'd already saved more than that paying rent. So what does this mean for you? If you've been renting and wondering when the right time is, let me tell you, the right time is when you're financially ready, not when the market is perfect. Markets are never perfect, but your financial house, that we can get in order. Bottom line, if you've been thinking about home ownership but aren't sure where do you stand, I've got a simple tool that walks you through exactly what you need to have in place. Visit rsrlinks.com/keysteps and see where you are in the process. And if you're a first-time buyer wanting to understand your options, check out rsrlinks.com/FTHB. rsrlinks.com/FTHB. Remember, strategy beats rate always. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com.